everybody. We hope you had a wonderful January.
It's over now, thankfully.
And now that we are getting out of the deep freeze, welcome to our first edition of Ideation Today for 2019.
Semester 2 has begun, so here we are.
Today we're going to discuss the 20-minute high-impact survey and the results we found from the teachers here at Antioch.
Our goal here is to help us all determine the current reality of teaching at Antioch Community High School.
Ultimately, our observational survey focused on 3 areas that were recommended by Jim Knight, an instructional coaching guru. Our 3 areas were community building, instruction, and planning, assessment, and learning. And in each of those categories, we looked at a variety of different areas.
During our observations, we saw 34 different teachers across all 8 departments and all levels of classes while we did these observations.
So generally speaking, some of the common trends that we ran into, we found that students were really on task. We were very impressed with that. Students and teachers also clearly had a really good rapport. They respected each other, they respected their teachers, really nice to see. Classes were run like well-oiled machines. At this point, second semester, a lot of the year-long classes, everybody knew what the routines were, and it was obvious that most classes had some sort of routine for the beginning of the school period. And the interactions, we did notice that teachers are correcting more often than reinforce, and we'll talk more about this later.
As far as instruction goes, our teaching practices are all across the board. Most of us began with some sort of a beginning routine. We facilitated thinking in our classrooms. We embodied the CRIS framework or utilized some of the strategies. We employed technology and cooperative learning. And a lot of us used direct instruction as part of our daily routines. We also noticed that technology, as I already mentioned, was being utilized, but it was always to aid whatever our goal for the day was. It was not driving the instruction, and it wasn't simply substituting tasks that could have been done utilizing other teaching methods.
So one of the things that we tend to do is obviously at the beginning of the period, and we try to come in during the first 20 minutes to minimize any disruption to you, the teachers, and once again, thank you for letting us in. We found that, of course, we're doing direct instruction first, and then, of course, the students are then going to go and do whatever the activity is that we were observing. But sometimes it seemed like the doing came in a little bit too late, and the difficulty is in being able to observe the stuff that the students were doing, because by about 20 minutes in, they're just starting and we're leaving the classroom. So that was one of the things that we kind of noticed. But of course, it also correlates to the students being on task. We saw them jumping into doing all kinds of different stuff, and they were definitely involved in the class.
Another thing we focused on was the types of questions that were utilized in the classroom. We found that many of the questions used were closed-ended questions with direct answers. This often led to some knowledge-based questions that focused just on specific content in the classroom.
When planning for lessons, all of us are doing a really good job of establishing clear learning targets for our day. Another thing that we notice is that when it comes to creating assessment criteria for our students, we are not specifying criteria for success. This translates to students not understanding what it is that their product should look like, or how their responses should be formulated, or even what it takes potentially to get a passing grade on something. Ultimately, we are probably assessing whether or not our students are learning, but we don't appear to be collecting data during lessons. This means we can't modify or adjust until later, most likely the next day.
So why does this matter? What's next?
It's up to you. Where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want to improve your teaching skills and strategies.